Hello and welcome to another coaching video, and in this one we have a Silver Kindred versus Silver Lee Sin. This is interesting, you know why? Because you shouldn't be playing either of these champions in Low Elo. Now, the word is shouldn't. Can you if you want to? By all means. I hope to give as much information across this channel, or all my channels, to help you thrive with your chosen champion. But these two champions are definitely not the easy ones to use, and you have to execute properly. So, let's see who does, what happens, and what we can change about our game plan to maybe... Oh, here we go. Okay, so already... on the outset, hopefully while I'm looking at you explaining things, you're noticing this, okay? Right here. You're seeing this. From the blue team's perspective, they don't see anything, but they obviously have a late invade here going for this one. Your bottom laner contesting. What should your bottom lane be doing? Just chilling bot side, focusing level 2, not getting level 2 ganked. Don't want to push it. You want to let it push in so that Lee Sin doesn't get any free ganks, but we observe this, we see 4 CS, and we say, fine, let's counter invade and take his blue and his grub. Now, here's a question for you silver aficionados. Based upon what you just saw there from the Lee Sin, where is he going? What do you think he wants to do in this elo? A challenger jungler will think differently about this compared to, obviously, a silver jungler. A silver jungler here is so obsessed with not losing a buff that they will literally go buff, buff, buff. Or, and I've seen this, buff, don't gank the lane even though Lucian vs. Katarina has prio, run across, contest and shove, and then go down to the red again so that you don't come out of base and go to his red. I've seen this, witnessed it, and it is as offensive as it sounds. But this is the thing, when you're the Kindred in silver and you see this, you've got to know, okay, look, he stole my blue, late invade, thanks team, good wards, nice. I'm going to go from the red into the blue into the grub because I know I can. Gangplank will have prio over Nasus, right? Lucian will have prio over Katarina, you've got to play to that. I like that we're kiting this camp up, right? Away from the Lee Sin's possibility. The Lee Sin, in the meantime, let's find out where he is. He is doing his Raptors. We saw him path this way. So we knew he's either going to path directly to the blue invade or he's going to go to the Raptors. So what he does is stops to do the Raptors for some ungodly reason, hits this over the wall, sees the Kindred most likely. Oh, there we go. Hello, ward hops, hits the Q, goes right in. What should Kindred have done in this... Wait, hold on a second. Hold on a second. We're kiting. We're flashing. We're outplaying them. Well then, I thought the Kindred was just gonna die, but I'll take it. I have to let you know that you can get the jungle video courses on virkayu.gg for a 95% discount with the new membership program. Get access to the courses you need to achieve your goals by the end of Split 1 and for all of Split 2. Not only that, I'm also including a private Discord with this so that you can come and join me, get access to free coaching, free champion infographics, weekly lectures and Q&As, as well as a free video every week only released within the virkayu.gg Jungle Club Discord. If you want to buy the courses standalone, you of course can still do that, along with the free jungle improvement PDF, the video courses, plus full access to the Discord. virkayu.gg is even more a jungler's learning paradise. Click the link below to climb faster than Warwick chasing a 1 HP Jinx across the map. So if you are the Kindred here, and there will be pings down, Gangplank, why didn't you rotate? He couldn't rotate, he was busy doing his lane. It's just so much to unpack. Red, seeing my blue stolen. Counter invade, take it. Lee Sin, in this particular case, should just do the grump and the wolves and leverage the fact that he took this quadrant into a gank here. Into a gank here if it's possible, right? Let the Kindred compromise their game plan by vertical jungling. The Kindred doesn't want to do that. The Kindred wants to invade, pressure, gank, snowball. That Lee Sin takes away that component, right? We don't really care about fighting them. Instead, he goes blue Raptors. Even if he was to take his blue here, he would not get level 3. As you know, you need a buff, and a grump, or Krugs. You need either grump or Krugs to get level 3 for a 3 camper. So what exactly is the endgame here from the Lee Sin? If you're gonna go buff to buff, just go buff to buff, man. Go kill the Kindred before E is leveled up, and trust that you can win the PvP nature. Or, and again, that seems silly because Kindred's so damn strong, just, don't do it. At all. Now, Kindred has a smite here, fortunately. Shouldn't have forced this fight unless they knew categorically they could win. And that was so close for me that I'm not entirely sure that I'm convinced that Kindred knew they could win that. Are we on the same page here? We're looking at like a bronze silverish game here, so you have a good, real low elo example. This isn't silver 1 or anything. Low silver, high bronze. And we get the RNG scuttle here, which is great. We're going for this fine. But if you're going to do this into the blue grump and you don't win 1v1, what you want to do is make sure that they're trailing you. Because if the Lee Sin is doing what he's doing in silver as they do, and he's going to try and come and take this blue, you need to take this grump, get out of here, and try gank this lane as soon as possible. Before the Lee Sin shows up. Lee Sin shows up. But in this particular case, hello Shen, roaming from bottom lane. Now this is unexpected from a silver player, like, excuse me? Support roaming while Leona's bot lane, okay. And you know in a non-Kindred game 100% that Lee Sin is going to the bottom side. No blue, no grump. Raptors were taken, but red's available, Krogs are available, bottom side Scuttle's available, bottom lane ganks are available. No point doing this. The Shen is just on a bit of a random roam here. There's no real logical reason for him to be up here at this particular stage. I mean, is he going to dive this level 2? Unlikely. Gank mid lane? He could, but then you could just do this from the bottom side. Shatter your Lee Sin. Maybe do some cheeky invading here. But nevertheless, Shen is top side. Kindred sits in the bush, gets warded, gets all in by the Shen. Now, at this particular stage, we can argue about, hey, should we be here, should we not? Lucian has Prior. We know that. Problem is, Gangplank has Prior. Also no mana. But he can still rotate and do some stuff. Don't die for the Scuttle. Don't die for this Scuttle. In fact, if you're super duper low and got the ISO kill in the Lee Sin, if you don't have Prior for this and you think it's a doom scenario, just leave. Like, once the Shen goes and trades you there, you know you cannot stick it out. You have to leave. Because if you give this kill to the Katarina, which we do, that's just horrific. And now the Lee Sin's like, whoa, cool. Better do my own jungle camps. Let's see if he does anything about this. Shen's top side. So we're going to see if he can do something. Okay, we're going to ward up. We're going to hit that Q. We're going to get that slow. We're going to keep auto-attacking, making sure we can do that with Burn the Heal. The Leona's going to show up here. We have no flash. She blocks the Q. Can we hit another one from max range? Bend it, curve it like Beckham. We cannot. So you're seeing here, the Kindred gets too greedy for the mark. Now Kindred knows, okay, look, this mark here is still available because no one took that Scuttle Crab. It will eventually die off, of course, but no one has taken it. So do I go down and fight the Lee Sin over this particular Scuttle Crab if I know I can win? Yes. But Shen shadows. So we don't, and we go for the Grump now. No, we know it's gone. We know it's gone. There's no point checking. You know it's gone. You were spotted. Alright. Okay. Chasing marks. Lee Sin will move up there to take this. Everyone's overly obsessed with it. Kindred eventually actually uses their brain and says, yeah, you know what? Fine. Take it. I'll take your Raptors. A little slow, but of course we all know the Raptors will be the next marker. So in theory, if you thought that those Raptors would get marked and Lee Sin's going to spend a lot of time topside, you kind of wanted to leave them, no? Instead, we're going to go to the bottom side here. We know Shen was following Lee Sin, and we'll reset at some point, I assume. We get the slow here, as was just auto-attacking moving forward here. We've got to watch the Arcane Shift. The root does hit. Get the stun on the Arcane Shift here. Not enough damage. Katarina's moving down level 6. We're level 4, and this is why... Oh, that was... Well, that was interesting. Whew. I have strong opinions on this, but the biggest opinion I have... the River Shen technology really is existing. Yeah, there we go. Yeah. Okay. Where do we start here? Firstly, I liked the early phase. That was okay. But the second phase of the jungle, when you have a really rough first phase, is imperative for you to actually carry this game. As soon as you come out here and you see Lee Sin do this gank here and go take this bottom Scuttle, don't even think about it. Just go to your Grump, go to your Wolves, all right? You see the Shen and the Lee Sin cross the river to take this one. You know you can't do anything about it. So now you can make the executive decision of, all right, can I shadow them if they stick around and maybe gank topside? Maybe I just want to control my camps, right? Which is also fine, you can do that. Or if you're timing this marker properly, is there enough things for me to do on this side of the map, ganking bottom lane, ganking mid lane, so that I can wait for this timer on this Raptor camp, right? But what you don't want to do is come at a base after a silly death, after having a really good first 1v1, take a Grump, counter jungle, go down here, level 4, you're super duper compromised. You're 635, you're level 4, Lee Sin's level 4, the Katarina's level 6 because of the kill, she's shoving it out, the Lucian is just trying to get a, some sort of advantage here, Lee Sin's just going to solo the dragon knowing that he has that pressure. You've compromised your entire game plan, chasing marks, chasing random kills, and it's just, that's why I always say the philosophy here is have a very easy cookie cutter game plan that allows you to sequence your camps properly in this Elo. See the coaching video from last week. We talked a lot about how to actually implement that. But from a Kindred perspective, like, this is risky too, right? You could just be invaded on and killed here, and we've all seen this. And if you're level 4 getting randomly invaded by a Lee Sin on the second blue and you're dying to it, it's not because he's tracking you. It's just because you put yourselves in a compromised position. Now, of course, we're just going to leave this particular zone, and now we're thinking, what are you doing? I don't have enough gold to go back to base with the item I wanted. All right. Why? Because of the mistakes we talked about. Dragon just got taken. You're going to go and kill a Katarina who's, doesn't have her ult up anymore. but Lee Sin just did the dragon. Now we Q before he Qs and we die. Why would we go there, right? Now we talk a lot about overbasing in this elo. You go to base too much, but you also go to base too little when things don't go your way. And that's not right either. Look, we're compromised. Experience-wise, we're compromised. At this particular stage, you've done the blue, the Gromp has respawned, just do the damn Gromp, right? Or go back to base directly and just go topside. Because now we know this guy's just hanging out in this lane, sacrifices Ezreal, who's still up in CS, which is hilarious, which is technically what should happen. We need to be able to do something. And you're not going to be able to do anything with gold in your pocket, half HP, third HP, basically, when Lee Sin does this. So once this dings, Lee Sin's taking Dragon, go to base. Sit in the bush and bounce. Press S right here. Press S right here. Because if Lee Sin goes this way, past you, you can go and do the Gromp, right? What can I take right now that gets me some gold and gets me some HP, gets me back in the game, protects me from invades, and allows me just to get a little bit of something, a little bit of econ on the map? The Lee Sin's pathing will tell you everything, all right? And of course, because we know that he is going to path this direction to the mid lane, right? No vision of the Kindred at all. You would have an absolute free Gromp. You could look to counter gank this, excuse me, but I don't really feel strong enough for us to do that. And don't ever Q before the Lee Sin Qs. I mean, you're dead anyway there, but still. Like, that's just a silly pathing mistake. And now the Lee Sin says, okay, look, you haven't been topside for a while. You really wanted to take that. You haven't been topside for a while, all right? You hadn't gone back to base since the first time, because I saw from your itemizations, press tab. Therefore, I'm just going to go ahead and maybe steal some stuff from you. At this particular stage, the Lee Sin went for the Raptors, telegraphed it. Lucian shows up. We're going to get that fly. All right. Look, mechanical struggle is eternal. We all know this. But in this case, don't go for the Raptors. You have enough time to take the red and get out, which is going to hit the Kindred more mentally than taking the Raptors. For some reason, they're always obsessed about the buffs in this elo, and so you can just take the red. And because you know that the mark goes on the bottom side and the Kindred will be directed by the mark, you might even get the Krugs afterwards, 6 and dive or kick or do something to the Nasus, if possible. Not necessarily this Nasus, but whatever the top laner is, you might look for a play there. So if you're going to telegraph where you're going, be prepared for someone to rotate, and you're going to have to make a mechanical play. Not like that. And again, we're not going to focus on the mechanics in this particular video because we know the mechanics for these junglers. You know, Kindred's overtuned at the moment. Lee Sin is level 6, obviously, first, and most Kindred mains don't like Lee 6 just because of the kick. You see? Mechanically, as we talked about last week, is practice. Practice. And this play, like a lot of plays in the CL, I get it. It's a game, you gotta have fun, you gotta play your champions. But don't go into ranked playing new champions all the time, not scaling enough points to actually get good at them, and then complain that you can't climb. Because that's 100% the reason, right? But again, we go for the mark into the Raptors. Why did Lee Sin come for the Raptors necessarily? Well, his red buff was up. He wanted to do his red side. He also knew that the Kindred mark was going to be up on the bottom side, so you might be there. That's it. That's the extent of the decision making. There's no, what do we do next? What do we do afterwards? There's no extrapolation to the next Herald take. And the Kindred, this death here is the biggest problem for me. So, a messy game, no cohesion, and you can see that, right? Because largely what we try to do in these videos, especially on the gameplay channel with all the high elo stuff, what we can do is extrapolate thoughts. What might they be thinking? Why did they go for things? And because the behavior is dedicated, it's direct, and it's got purpose, you can see what they're trying to do. Whereas in these lower elo games, you just struggle to see exactly what anybody's doing. Like, why did they go do something? It's usually, no offense, but like a primordial desire. Red buff is up, I must eat it. That's it. Like, there's no strategical nuance to it. It's like, I just want the red buff. Kindred might go for the marks, I'll go bottom lane. And I'll do the Raptors first, which is the wrong call, because, you know, you want to go and kill them on the Scuttle Crab, not the Raptors. Fortunately, for Kindred, Lee Sin did show up to do the Raptors, and we weren't thinking about those things. And yes, it is random. You can't always track it. But when they do something that you don't expect, that doesn't make sense because your tracking is good, that means something good is available. For example, if you take this, right, and you go back to base, just hypothetically, you take it, you do a gank in the bottom lane, you do the blue card, everything's cleaned up. You go back to base, you're happy. You expect the Lee Sin here to focus more on the top side because he took the dragon, so he should take the Herald. So you go back to base, you go to your top side to do your red and your Krugs and your Raptors, and then look for some ganks. You follow? Lee Sin magically out of nowhere shows up on the bottom side with his red buff, and you're going, but Herald's available. You should have been coming for Herald. I thought you were going to go to the Herald. He didn't, which means his whole blue side is available, and the Herald's available. So based upon your lane states and what's actually the nature of the game, you could do a whole bunch of stuff. You could gank the top lane and then do the Herald. You could just simply counter jungle the whole blue side, fall back to the Herald, and know that you've got Prior. Like maybe you've got Prior in both these lanes. You can afford to counter jungle this guy, fall back to this, and if Lee Sin comes to contest, you've got the 3v1 fork. Depending on the game state, of course. So their mistakes and them not doing what you expect or what they should do, yes, it's randomness that's not easy to track because there's no real reason for it. There you go. But at the same time, it does mean there's always good stuff available. So if you're making the right decisions, you will be able to find the good stuff. I've always talked about it that way, and I think it's the best way to view it. Because if you're being destroyed by a random pathing silver jungler, then your fundamentals are not intact, right? Which is why for the website, I'm going to be putting like a get to gold jungle fundamentals thing. Nice and affordable, like jungle school, jungle foundations. Yeah, I'll call it that. Jungle foundations this week. Not up yet, but it should be up this week. Just to really help you give the grounding you need to make these decisions and track these random people. Shen obviously has ultimate. We're going in here. Now you can argue until the cows come home once again, and we've said that twice this video. Hey, where are my team? What should I be doing? No, like, don't fight it then. You have no Prior. Shen isn't in lane. Who is winning this game right now? Red team's bottom lane. They've killed Ezreal. They have 4.5 to 3.4. Shen is 2.6k gold to Leona's 3. He's not really doing anything in lane to warrant Lee Sin showing up much. So if you can't contest the roaming Shen and GP's Prior, now the fed Katarina, who is largely fed because of our kill that we gave to her, give it up. Give it up. Go and counter jungle here and dive bot lane over and over again. Take your camps, clear up what you can here, secrets down, counter jungle, dive. Fall back to this stuff, repeat gank, kill, dive, push. Now you and your bot lane can probably fall back to a dragon, somewhere within that. Now once you've done that, you've got an objective, you've gotten yourself fed, you've counter jungled, you've snowballed your bottom lane nicely, you've got 5 plates. Even if you lose a Herald and he uses the top side, doesn't matter, you're getting equal and opposite, right? Don't go for the fights where you know you've numbers at disadvantage. Just don't do it. There's no reason for it. And yeah, the Lee Sin's kind of doing a little bit of randy, but he's still 2-2-1. And a lot of it is just you. Like, literally you. 1-2, right? 2 out of his 3 are Kindred mispositioning. And the one other time, Kindred won. Because Kindred's a good, strong champion. Lucian, mid lane, is not something you want to see necessarily in this elo, but at the same time, it's still going to have Prior over the Katarina. She won't have Prior over him. And the only reason she gets fed here is if you, as a jungler, make mistakes. So again, we leave base, we go to the... Why? I understand holding waves, but do you really want to telegraph where you're going at this stage? I don't. I don't like telegraphing where I'm going. I know there's a dragon going to be spawning here, right? It's a doomed scenario. It's a doomed game, right? Because you're coming out of base, you hear the Herald go boing, global ultimate, global noise. Yes, he has a global ultimate, but global noise. So you know Lee Sin took the Herald, which means you have time to quickly go ahead and snack this crab. So if you're bottom lane and no one's in a position to actually do this dragon, at least you get the scuttle, you can see what's going on. If you've got a ward, I don't usually like placing it, but here I would maybe place it just to see what's going on. Maybe we can fight. But ideally, outside the rule, take the scuttle crab, fall back to your blue, do your grump, do your wolves. That's the intent. If your bottom lane make plays, if your mid lane can make plays, and you can actually leave this clear to go and do something in order to get the dragon, do so. But don't leave base to go to wolves, the closest thing to you, when you could easily get a scuttle crab to get yourself some vision control over the dragon bit, plus utility if there's a fight that develops, and then show here to telegraph exactly where you're going next. And now, because you show mid lane going down, they all know you're going to be here. You get taunted. Lucian ults to help you. Q does hit, but not on the right target. You are now shoved out. Lee Sin's team is now trapped a little bit because the Leona and the Misfortune are moving, hooray, huzzah, but we're not in a position to capitalize. This is what you want right here. You want to be in a position to capitalize your bot lane winning with that Prior. But you're not. Because you didn't use the outside rule. You focused on the wrong thing. You held the wave when you wanted to be anonymous prior to an objective. And everything else that happens here, despite it maybe working out for the red team, is results-based. We don't care. At all. Alright, we don't care about this. And we didn't even get the assist as Kindred. So you're existing, but you're not actually contributing. 1-3-0. Now you're like, well, can we go ahead and do this dragon? Yes, and there's a mark. You're finally blessed. And you can do that as well. But of course, you are compromising and giving the Ezreal a lot of time by himself. There you go. Good job, bot lane. You'll take this. So your 1-3-0 objective hand monkey. GP moves over, Katarina moves over. Kindred does have ultimate available again. Don't stop, keep running, keep running, keep running. You're gonna have to give this up right here if possible. Just go ahead and take this, take this. You could go vertical jungle this if you feel it's safe because everyone else is down here. You've got a Nasus here pushing this one, that's great. But a little bit of flow. Clunky and not perfect because of our missed decisions, but at least it's something. You don't want to lead with your ult on Katarina. There's a lot of word salad before that. Now, this mark is up here, and again, don't compromise your jungling based upon the mark system. You're telegraphing where you're going. And whenever you telegraph where you're going, the Katarina could have easily just moved on over to kill you here. And even if you don't get the kill, you're still gonna waste your ultimate trying to win the fight. So fortunately, ignored, don't care. Lee Sin's over here, that's fine. It's a little sneaky. That's okay. But still, I don't really like doing the telegraphing of what I'm actually doing, right? It's so risky. We could have easily collapsed on the whole. We could have killed the Shen, killed the Lee Sin. We had numbers advantage. GP's over here. Like, there's just nothing being done proactively. And if you're gonna steal his Raptors and you see them here, what else should you do next? What else can you do if you're in a bad game, making bad decisions, having not a good time, and you kind of just want to get back into it? What should you do? Just go and take his red, take his Krugs, and go back to base. Seriously. If you're not going to fight them and you're going to give up your whole blue side, and you're sneaking this away, no one seems to give a shit. Get out. Go spend your money, go topside, take this, take this. You get yourself a nice bit of gold momentum. You finish off your Trinity Force if you have enough cash money gold, we do. You get some booties. You know, you start to move forward with your life. Wasted, but also nicely done. Shen ults, Luciano ults as well. Wool kills be gotten. No, Lucian walks in front of the wall for some particular reason. Q hits over the wall. Boom, baby, done. Leona goes in with a Zenith Blade, hits that Q, uses, of course, her W for Mega Aegis resistances. Lee Sin ward hops out of the ultimate, which is pretty juicy, actually. We could have used our flashes, Leona. We didn't have Ignite up. Now Misfortune is chasing the Shen. We'll get the flash Q. And now Gangplank's like, well, free real estate for me, because Nasus is down here. Turret up, turret down. That's great. 1 and 2. So we're looking at here a lot of pressure as we get, of course, a big smack on that turret there. And now Kindred's falling back. So 5.1k gold to 5.6. But we're 1-3-1, which is, I think, a good sign. Good shutdowns, decent farming cadence here. You know, it's some plates. It's not horrific. Well, no plates, but it's not horrific, right? For the Elo. You know, obviously, objectively, if we're going to measure it, we're going to say, look, this is not very good. But for the Elo, you're still within touching distance of a Lee Sin, and all of his kills and gold income was from you making bad mistakes. And you not taking everything you could in the case of you taking the Raptors. Like, we could easily go down to the red and the Krugs and get a whole bunch of stuff. So getting as much as you can on a trip is really always the goal of a jungle. Whatever form that takes, right? Whatever form that takes. Now we're chasing around a Gangplank here, which, you know, on one hand you're like, okay, but he's going to load up the kegs here. And as we see our lethality and Misfortune bot lane, we're still chasing around this Gangplank. Like, you have to ask yourself, can we get the kill here? Lucian ease in, which means he's going to get popped, which he does, and now he gets the level up and off he goes. You just take the shit you can while everyone else is distracted in this Elo. Seriously. Oh, look, they're distracted. Shove, 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 push, 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 push. Someone rotates. Okay, bye. Take this, take this. Where's my stuff? Hippity hoppity, take all of this, reset. Oh, no. Drag them around and keep getting yourself gold. That's what you do in these games. Think it like Graves, honestly. If you think in low elo, how would a high elo player be playing Graves in this situation? That's usually a good actual thing to baseline your decision making on, because if you can't get everything that you want in terms of the actual game plan, but everyone's distracted, which they are, doing the wrong things, which they are, and you see available camps and objectives and waves to push and turrets to hit, do so. And Kindred's great at doing that, right? It's always about maximizing that gold per minute and experience per minute, and making the decisions necessary to not only get that, but also affect the map at the same time. So Nasus, I don't know why he's pathing that way. Kindred's obviously moved on over here. We have ult up very, very shortly. That's a nice Leon ult there. We'll get a kill in Katarina. Good chain CC. Lucian is now chasing with 3 ADC comp, which I call a finesse comp in this particular elo. You never want to be in a finesse comp in low elo, right? Like 3 ADCs, multiple squishies, no front to back team fighting, weird comps that are not easy to pull off. You just don't want those finesse comps at all. It's rough, it's difficult. You're not going to climb with it. So it's better to pick your second jungler, your backup jungler, if you see that you have a mid lane ADC and a bot lane ADC. Can you win with it? Yes, but you have to be pretty damn good at your positioning. but it's tough otherwise. I would recommend your backup choice in this particular case. GP is just so far ahead, and as you see, you know, when your ADC is ahead, that's great, but what did we not do in this particular game to help snowball the misfortune in Leona? Shen was perma roaming. As I said, just, right, try get the Herald if you can, but because we didn't use that time we had to potentially do it, we didn't get it. Now we're counter jungling, they're all going to respawn. They could roam up here, they could roam down there, who knows at this particular stage, you just take what you can. Whew, another muck for me, go take your red Krugs, give this up, you're not getting it at all, so just get whatever econ you can, shove and pull up. Could we go for it? Yes, but I think when no one shows up here, right, where are they going? To the dragon, can we win it? Do we have TP? Yes we do, but in pocket we have 1600 cash money gold. Don't really want to fight it. I'd rather do my red, my Krugs, get level 11, which is huge for the next fight because you're going to get the bonus CDR on that as well, right? Instead of getting the level 6 CDR. And everyone's going to be collapsing on down to this with you having 1700 gold and no rank 2 ultimate. You have time to do your red, to do your Krugs, to go spend your gold, to come back down and still be in time because it's a silver game. And if you are in time, great. You shouldn't be, but hey, we're there at least. And now the Nasus is distracted by our Krugs. He does have TP, but he's not going to use it because he's no HP, no mana. We're into a choke point against the Lucian. The Shen, who's going to go in for the taunt here. Now Lee Sin can keep chasing us down. Now the Shen's going to ult the Lee Sin while he does that. Misfortune isn't able to do anything. Ult is burnt, so we don't get the benefit of the CDR plus any other scalings on our ultimate. And now we should die. Patience, Viceroy. They will die. Nice level up on the blue buff, though. We do take that. Shen also dies. I mean, you're looking at it and going, should any of this be happening? No. But it is. But it is. So, unfortunate for the Kindred. And now going for the, I saw in the match history, the Black Cleaver. You don't want to do that. Make sure you... We all knew this was going to happen, right? Like, we all knew that was going to happen. Yeah, okay. Good. Yeah, don't go Black Cleaver. That ain't the build. This is still good. There are changes coming this week. It should still be fine. It's not quite a nerf. It is a nerf, but it's also a little bit of a reshift, a bit more upfront. I do recommend in this particular case, obviously, because as you see, the healing and the cooldown, it's the only two things you get on this. But in general, for other champions, if you're level 10, you can get red Krugs, get 11, go for the dragon fight with fresh spend, with level 11 cooldowns a benefit. It's big, right? It's big for that fight. We didn't, so we lose it. Also, I would probably say in this particular case, if you're going to play like this, Kindred Conqueror. PTA is great if you're going to be ganking, and you want to amplify your team damage, you like that on-hit burst proc, that's fun, that's great, but it's better to use Conqueror with the way we've kind of been playing a bit hyper-aggressively, one-man style, you know? Trinity Force and PTA have always had a synergy, though. Katarina bot lane. GP out of position, Herald activated, whole team can collapse, one down here, two up in the mid lane. Shen doesn't have ult currently. GP is now just doing the work here, and no one wants to commit. Hit the watermelon first. I hit the watermelon first. They're split. Like, they could just send the whole team at him. Your whole team just needs to bum rush and kill him, kill the Herald, de-shove the wave, everyone rotate to cover, and you lose nothing. But because everyone's too afraid to commit because it's a finesse comp with no hardcore engage, with no hardcore peel. Leona does that, but that's all we got, right? Like, we got 3 ADCs. We don't have an assassin to dive their backline. We don't have someone to go in, bait, and get out, like a Hecarim with Phase Rush or a Rengar with his W, right? Because it's not always the tanks that engage like that. But Leona, everyone should fully commit to this. Go in, make the play, make the pick, push it out, kill this, don't lose the turret, cover waves. Maybe you lose this if they're smart, but there's nothing else you can do. It's all self-inflicted at this stage. But you cannot go one at a time, spread it out, let him actually finesse you like that. Yeah, you just cannot. You physically cannot. So now we're going to hold this. In the meantime, we have Shen ulting Lee Sin in the bottom lane. We're watching the Katarina go in. We have the taunt. The Shen is honestly MVP this game. The roams don't always make sense, but because junglers don't know how to leverage the disadvantages giving his ADC, it doesn't really matter because the Ezreal is just 242. His gold is 7.3. Yeah, he's down 3k gold, but it doesn't really matter, right? There we go. There we go. Aha, we got a kill. Amazing. Don't think it matters, though. Push that out a little bit because there's nothing we can do about this one. And except you look at the HP and you're like, maybe there is something we can do about this one. But they want gold, 1700. Our team should, in theory, be able to do it themselves. But, yeah, you look at this, you're like, okay, well, you could keep pushing in theory. Like, you could keep pushing if you wanted to, fall back to the side and just take everything you can. Whatever happens here happens. It's possible. You could do that. I'd probably do that over chasing. Just because you've got GP dead right now, and there's a Baron on the map, and they're not going to do it. All right. Peaches and Cream for us, chasing now by ourselves after rotating down to the bottom side here with 1,800, like we didn't base, we just walked all the way down, which is, again, stupid waste of time. Next dragon is going to be going up, thusly, well, actually not thusly, in a couple of minutes. And GP's taking that blue, while we see the Ezreal here, so we're going to go all in on this one. Obviously, the Shen will be here, the Lee Sin is here as well. We're going to ward hop the wall, he's going to go in, no ult on the Shen just yet. The Lucian misses his spells, Nasus is pushing this one, but the GP's just split pushing with his huge lead. And that's the thing. Despite the 1v1 kill on the Lee Sin earlier, we just did not get the kills necessary. Katarina's flanking, see the assassin pressure, the difference we have, the fighter disruption from the Lee Sin, who can engage as well. Katarina's going to flank and hit us now, most likely. Leona's leaving to hold the top wave. Like, no one knows their role, no one knows what to do. No one knows what to do. The threat of Katarina's too big. Right in the gut. That hit me right in the gut. That Q miss. I mean, they did kill Gangplank while we watched that, but there's a dragon up, which is a taking. You're just in a horrible, horrible situation, and the question is always, how do I win these games? It's nothing to do with this right here. Because none of this should happen if you play properly in the early to mid. And if you're scaling team comp, and this does happen, and you let it happen, not through your mistakes, but just like, okay, guys, I'm going to keep giving you a piece of bread for the first 25 minutes. It doesn't really matter as much, because with the dragon and the herald that we did get some vision control, as long as we're patient, don't overcommit and force them to push into us, someone will misposition and make a mistake, like, say, the Gangplank here, but you've got to go all in as a team. All in, get the kill, shove it out, go for the Baron, force the next fight, force the 5v4. That's very important if you're scaling team comp. In this particular game, we got a Lucian mid lane, which, okay. The Nasus is fine, but it's a GP Katarina Ezreal with a Shen and a Lee Sin who's going to be useful. And that's a misfortune with lethality, so not as. There we go. So you cannot be here being, oh, that's why they hate the Lee Sin. That's why they hate the Lee Sin. You got to flash the Q there if you're Kindred, by the way. Flash the Q from the Lee Sin, Q back out towards the base. Like, Nasus is what? 8.5k gold, and they have 14, 10, 10. 12 with ADC, but the ADC can do nothing. Because the ADC doesn't, Leona can go in or Leona can peel. Other than that, there's nothing. Because Nasus will be doing the disruption, so she shouldn't peel. But it's just too difficult to pull this comp off against that. That's a good solo queue comp. And GB has a split pressure with his global ultimate as well. We don't have anything that can match. So it's very important that our early and mid game was executed properly, which it was not. And our ADC is unable to use the lead that she had. And again, if it sounds possible, we could have snowballed her a lot more and forced macro pressure, but we did not force macro pressure. Now, it is currently 27 minutes. Nothing happens for the next 3 minutes, and I kid you not, because basically they push this out here, it looks like. I haven't seen this game, so it looks like Kindred steps up, gets cute, now flashes, Katarina goes in, ults the Nasus when you didn't really have to. You have to save that Kindred ult. That Kindred ult was too early, and it just sets it up for the Gangplank, man. It just sets it up for the Gangplank. Look at this. You know what? I'm probably going to break this down as part of the jungle detail this week in the Discord, in the private Discord. Membership's linked below if you want to join that. Courses plus special videos every week. How fun and cool. Because this is really interesting. Yeah, we just use it way too soon. There's a lot of baits going back and forward here, and it just sets up a beautiful Gangplank combo. And Katarina resets and shutdowns. Oh no. Don't just end the game. Who's pinging Baron? Who is literally pinging Baron? I have to see. Who's pinging Baron? Shen is pinging. Pretty much. You can expect a guy who never went to lane, who knows nothing about anything, just River Shen, pinging the Baron when you can just end the damn game. Yeah, that's a problem in Low Elo. So good thing for them that they did. But yeah, not a good game. An unclean game. It showcases to you, you know, for bottom lane, they can say, look, the Shen is perma roaming, and everyone can complain about the Shen perma roaming. Yeah, I get you. It's frustrating. But the Kindred's the one that threw the lead away. The lead is that you kill Lee Sin 1v1. You have total control of your jungle camps. You probably have to give this up anyway, right? So you could easily just go back to base after getting the kill and go straight to it again if you wanted to. I wouldn't really want to do that. But, you know, it's not worth dying to a Katarina over Scuttle. Then we waste our time doing some counter jungling, a little bit of cheeky showing, and then we just walk into bush when we know Lee Sin just did the dragon, we die again. Then we can test a Herald 4v3 and we die again. You're never getting going, and you're playing Kindred. It's not going to work. and after you killed the enemy jungle 1v1 from a weird invade early, shouldn't happen. So that's where the root cause is, obviously, and then you're just playing from behind the whole game. And as I say, if you see a highlighted ADC mid and ADC bot lane, don't play ADC jungle, unless you are prepared to 1v9. But there you go, messy game, disjointed, rough, not very clean. People's motivations are big in question, which is what happens here, which is why we have, you know, steps to make those foundations in jungle super solid, because you just need to understand simple decision-making processes in this elo. When they make mistakes, you punish them. And that's it. So hopefully you enjoyed and learned something a little bit, again, disjointed. But thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.